Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Starner. I have the privilege of being the principal of Westerville South High School. And it truly is an honor to be among the first to welcome into our auditorium Westerville's graduating class of 2021. Say it with me, huh? Some of us see that number in disbelief, and some of us see that number, and we can't wait to have it arrive for an array of reasons, and those are all great reasons. Well, certainly tonight we're here to help you start the journey. This thing out in front of us called high school is exciting, causes anxiety, puts so many things out in front of us that are certainly among the most memorable in all of our lives. This is the first step and helping parents who are, let me just say, freaked out because just yesterday you brought home this little baby boy or girl and now you've blinked twice and they're on their way to high school. And for you students, it's a way to start to get over those barriers of what I call the 4 L's. I don't want to get lost. I'm worried about how I look. I want to know how to get in my locker, and I want to know when lunch is, right? So those are the things between now and the start of school that evenings like this are designed to conquer. So in order to do that, it's going to take a team, and we all want to thank you for being here. It's an honor to have just amazing colleagues to work with, and I want to introduce the principal of Westerville North High School, Mr. Kurt Yancey.
Good evening. As Mr. Starner said, my name is Kurt Yancey. I'm the principal at Westerville North High School. It is my pleasure to welcome the Rising Warrior Class of 2021. I've been the principal at Westerville North for 10 years, and I'm very, very excited to be able to continue to serve in this capacity and to serve you and your children. I'd like to also at this time introduce Principal at Westerville Central High School, Mr. Todd Spinner.
Mr. Yancey, thank you very much. Good evening. Welcome to all the Wildcats, Warriors, and of course the Silver and Black, future Warhawks. Very excited to have you next year at the corner of Mount Royal and Tussock. A lot of great things happening over there. This is a great night and a great chance to learn all about the exciting opportunities that your students are going to enjoy in high school. So once again, welcome. Can't wait to see all the Warhawks over at Central High School next year. And at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Jeff Johnson, who is the Vice President of the Westerville City Schools Parent Council. Please, how about a round of applause for Mr. Jeff Johnson?
Thank you very much. As he said, my name is Jeff Johnson, and I am a member of the Westerville Parent Council. And on behalf of the Parent Council, I would like to welcome all of you to High School 101. We are an umbrella group for all the volunteer organizations throughout the district. I like to refer to us as a PTA for PTAs. Now, when you get to high school, the PTAs kind of disappear and becomes booster groups, and they're more specific to your students' interests. Our goal is to get you more involved and to get you information on what's going on. You know, schools are a lot different nowadays than when we went to school. You know, there's a lot more technology. The courses that are available are different. There's extracurricular activities, even the food. Specifically, high school has a more thoughtful approach than just getting you out the door with a diploma. They're really working to get your student prepared for their direction in life after high school, and that starts in high school. So you're going to get a lot of good information about that here tonight. The approach starts here, and it's designed with you in mind with this program. Carry on this conversation with your student at home and also at future events at your local high school, and get involved and talk to the teachers and the counselors there. Lastly, I'd like to remind you to have fun, encourage your students to get involved in clubs, sports, the academic programs, arts, whatever their interest is, and then also take that opportunity for you to get involved too. You'll meet a lot of great friends along the way, and it's really a rewarding process. Now I'd like to introduce Scott Reeves, Executive Director of Secondary Academic Affairs. Thank you.
Good evening. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good evening. All right, I want you to know that I'm excited to see you and to see all of the students that are coming into ninth grade. My name is Scott Reeves, and I'm the Executive Director of Secondary Academic Affairs, which is a lot of words to say I'm responsible for everything middle and high school. So, with that, let me see by a show of hands how many of you, this 8th grade student of yours is your oldest child and you are going through high school for the first time. That's why you're here. Your friends with older siblings, they're not here tonight. Your son and your daughter will be fine. All 3 high schools are amazing schools, filled with amazing staff, principals, teachers, counselors, administrators, coaches, advisors, people who are excited to work with your young person and to help them not only graduate, but to get them to what they aspire to do beyond graduation. Because it's just not about getting to that day. It's preparing them and helping them find their interests and their aspirations so that they are ready for what happens with the rest of their life the day after graduation. Whether they are enrolled in a 2-year, 4-year technical school, whether they go off to service of our country in one of the armed services, or whether they go to work. And probably some kind of combination in between. We want to give them the experiences so that they are ready for that, and that your Westerville educational experience was valued, and that you can look back at the experience of your child and you knew that they were connected, they belonged, and that they were ready for adulthood. So what are you going to hear a little bit about tonight? We're going to talk a little bit tonight about the planning for the next 4 years. You're worried about the next week to week and a half. How do I register? When do I register? What do I need to take? And that is exactly what you're going to hear tonight. But we're also going to always have you keep one eye on the whole plan. What do you and your child want for the rest of their life? We're going to talk about some of that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what's different about high school. To your experience at this point, from kindergarten through 8th grade, the experience of high school is a little bit different. Might take you a little bit down memory lane from your high school experiences, but we'll talk about earning credits, all the programs that are involved, the clubs, the activities, all the things that high school affords you. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. The graduation requirements. What does your child need to do specifically to graduate from high school? Not only Westerville City Schools graduation requirements, but the state of Ohio's graduation requirements from testing or credential earning or performance on national assessments like the ACT or SAT test. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight as well. We have amazing programming in our high schools, as good as any you'll find anywhere. And we'll talk about some of those. No matter the interest of your child, they will be able to find something to gravitate to in our high schools. And importantly, we'll talk about the timeline. What do you need to know? When do you need to know it? When do I have to sign up? When is this due? And all those important dates and timelines, we'll talk about this. If you haven't noticed, in the middle, we have a camera, and we are recording this program. We are recording that so that if you get this one-page document that you should have picked up on the way in, that has a lot of important links and dates and all of that good stuff, and you want to take notes but you can't keep up, don't worry about it. We hope to have this PowerPoint presentation posted and this video posted hopefully tomorrow by the weekend, so that over the course of the weekend, at your time, at your convenience, you can go back, you can review the PowerPoint. Wait, what did they say about this? You can go and hear it, you can go see it, or you can go read it. So we'll have that for you. So with that, planning for the next 4 years and beyond. All right, where's my clicker? Am I in the way? All right, planning for the next years and beyond. So I'm in the seat of many of you. I have a son that's a junior, and I have a daughter that's in the 8th grade. So I am doing freshman scheduling just like you're doing. And so on this sheet that you received, there are dates, links, pages within the course description guide. Now, the course description guide is our booklet that outlines all of our programming in high school. It outlines every single course that we offer with a description so that you can go through those to determine, is this something that my child would be interested and would excel in? You will get a copy, one copy per family, on the way out the door. So you can take this and take it home for the weekend to take a look at it. The most important page for you before you begin this program and this process of registration might be on page 25 and 26 of that, and that's in the first slot. That's a 4-year planning guide. That's not in stone. That's for you to take notes. That's for you to have those conversations with your student about what are the things that they may want to do. That's what that is at the bottom. And the best place for that conversation to happen is in the car when you're picking them up or taking them somewhere or at the dinner table at night. And I can tell you, if your kids are anything like mine, my 8th grade daughter, for years, she's known exactly what she wants to do. She wants to be an OBGYN. That's great, really great. And she is held to that. So when we sit down and map out what she is going to take this year and in the years beyond, we start looking at, if this is what you want to do, here are the courses that you should take, starting with this year and maybe next year and beyond. For her, she may get into those, and as she progresses down a healthcare field, she may say, yep, this is exactly what I like to do. Or she may say, you know what, I don't like it, and I don't want to do that. I'll tell you, that is every bit as valuable. You don't want them to go to college and start flipping majors and trying to find out what they want to do, because every time they flip a major, that's more zeros on the checkbook that you're going to be writing. My son, who's a junior in high school, on the other hand, it's like pulling teeth trying to get him to articulate in any way what he might want to do with the rest of his life. But I don't relent, and we continue to ask him, and the conversation turns to, okay, well, what are you good in school? What do you like to do? What are you passionate about? And then we start saying, well, here are some variety of careers that you may be able to spend the rest of your life doing. And here are the courses that you'll want to take where you can do the things that you're good about, that you're passionate about, that you may aspire to do. And I'm hoping that light clicks on for my son, and I'm hoping for him, because we try to tell him, get a plan, because in 18 months, your room is going to look a little different than it looks today. So those conversations are very valuable for you to have. It goes quick. You blink your eyes, and you say, where has the time go? Because I do it every day, and I know you do. So I'll join you again at the end of the program. Again, welcome. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. We're excited to have you. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Mrs. Cynthia DeVise, who will talk a little bit about what's so different about high school.
Good evening, everyone. You guys are a great-looking crew. Awesome. So, my name is Cynthia DeVise, and I'm the coordinator for Minority Student Achievement. But the best job to date that I hold is as a parent. Oh, that's so sweet. I know. As a parent, which are so many of you out there are serving in the same role as I am today, I'm here to talk to you as a parent. So one of my roles is also to work with other parents and helping them advocate for their children as students here in Westerville City Schools. So let me see. We asked about the parents, so let me see how many students we have in the audience. Raise your hand. Okay, that's pretty good. So now what I want you to do, for even the students that are not here with their parent or guardian, I want you to give a roaring applause and some screams and thank yous to the parents, because they probably won't get this for 4 more years. So let's do it, okay? All right, let's go. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, parents, that was a forced thank you, but we'll take it, okay? And the reason why I say that is because I have a senior right now, and he attends Westerville South, and I know I probably won't get an applause until I kick him out and make him go to college. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. Okay, a couple things that I want to talk to you all about is just about times are changing. This is a new chapter in the life of your child in regards to their academic performance and things that they're going to be moving on to do. And there's a new chapter for you as well as you send your kid off to high school. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for you, and it's an exciting time for me because I get to close the chapter on that one. So that's a whole nother story. But for you as parents who are going into this new phase with your student, I want to let you know that some things will not change. And one thing that we're encouraging you to do is to stay involved with your school and with your students. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed with everything that's going on, and we think that since times have changed, we spent a lot of time in elementary school and we were so involved with, the community service or going to their sporting events or helping them with homework, and then we do the same thing in middle school, and then when we get to high school, it's like, whoo, you're on your own, and we're excited to kind of release and let go. So what I'm here to say to you today is don't quite take your hands off yet. We love to have you involved in your student's life, and we encourage you to be as involved as they were in middle school, when they were in middle school and in high school. So we ask you to do a couple things. So when your student enters into the doors of their high school, once they get home, we want you to take the opportunity to ask them a lot of questions. Maybe, for an example, how were your classes? Were you able to find your classes today? What were the classes that excited you most? Or what are the things that may be a little bit more challenging for you? Sometimes we have to kind of pull those things out of our kids because they don't want to give it up to us right away. So I'm asking you as parents to begin to continue the conversations with your students. The other thing is, make an effort to go out of your way and to communicate with the teachers and the counselors. You don't necessarily have to wait until parent-teacher conference time comes around, but find out the ways that it's best for you to communicate with your teacher. So for an example, it may be through email. It may be through a text. It may be through Schoology or Power School. Find out the ways that works best with your teachers and works best for you in ways to communicate with your teacher and the counselors. I was talking to a counselor the other day, and she said, make sure you tell the parents, we want them to schedule appointments with us. We love to have the opportunity to meet with them one-on-one and begin to work towards a plan for their child's future. And so I just want to encourage you to do that as well. The last thing that I want to say is to make sure that we use Power School here, Power School and Schoology. And so if those are areas of our social media and our school networking systems that you are not familiar with, that's another thing that you want to make sure that you connect with your school, your teachers, your principals, or the counselors to find out the best way to access those ways of communication, to keep up to date with your students' grades and their homeworks, because that's a way that you can still find out what's happening and be up to date with those things. So I just want to encourage you and welcome your students to High School 101 and for their future. I think it's going to be an awesome time for you, and just be open to the experience and just continue to understand that the best way to stay connected with your school and your student is to stay engaged. The next thing that I want to do is we have students here who have been working with your 8th grade students for quite a while. They're called our junior mentors. And so I would like to introduce them now because they're going to give you a couple words of advice in regards to what it's like to be in high school and how it worked out for them. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am joined by Wildcat Jr., Akua Ofori, and I'm telling you, this one is as good as it gets. She is just an incredible kid, and it's very purposeful that we selected her to speak to her future peers here at Westerville South. There's a sign in my office that I look out when I leave the office. I try to look at every time I go, and there's 5 core values. One of them is to surround yourself with winners, and I think it's an important message for students too, because you should look at people in the upper grade students to emulate, to act, think, and do as they do. So here's your first one. Okay, Akua Ofori. Kui, how was school today?
School's good.
And you ready for that French test tomorrow?
Yes, Mr. Starner, I am.
That's good. So let's provide some advice. If you could go back and do, because she's not perfect. She's great, but she's not perfect. If you were to go back and do your freshman year again, is there anything that you would change?
Certainly being more involved in school, such as joining clubs, doing sports, and most importantly, asking your teachers for help, because freshman year, your teachers are there to help you guide you through what you're going to do later on in your sophomore or junior years. They're there to help you and make you understand what exactly you're doing.
So high school really isn't this big, ugly, scary place. People are here to help.
They're really here to help you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Yancey.
Actually, I think it's Mr. Spinner.
Mr. Spinner.
Check, check. We got it. That's all right. Mr. Yancey and I look very similar, so I could see how you could get us confused. I have with me tonight Tatiana Fenoy. What a great Warhawk she is. How about a round of applause for Tatiana? The Fenoy family is a great one. Matter of fact, Mom is with her this evening, and I know Mom is very proud of all Tatiana's accomplishments. As a matter of fact, when Tatiana is done, she didn't want to be rude, but she let me know that she has another school appointment. So they're going to sneak out. And they said, well, we'll just leave subtly. I said, I don't know if you can leave subtly from the front row, so I'll just let everybody know that you have another school appointment. So, Tatiana, with that being said, very proud of all that you've done at Central High School. So if you could tell the incoming parents and the incoming freshmen something that you did that was very successful for you your freshman year that you definitely would do again and repeat if you were a freshman again, what would that be, or what would some of those things be?
I'd definitely get involved and stay involved. Do as many clubs as you can. There's a lot to offer at all the Westerville City schools. Try out for sports. Whether you feel like you've never played it before, just do it anyway. And continue to communicate and talk to your teachers. As was said before, all your teachers are here to help you. Nobody's against you. Everybody's, a big, happy family.
We're going to end things like we always do because nothing says I love you like a Warhawk high five. Right, Tatiana? All right. And now at this time, Mr. Yancey.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner. Once again, my name is Kurt Yancey, the principal at Westerville North, and I have here tonight one of our most amazing Warriors, Mackenzie Jeffries. Mackenzie's here with us tonight. She is a member of our Warrior Way leadership team, junior mentor, on the mock trial team, and one of our cheerleaders. Just a phenomenal young person, and I'm very proud of her for being able to be here tonight with us to share some advice with you, and it's something that I think you'll get a lot out of. Mackenzie, can you talk to the future students here, the future Warriors, Warhawks, and Wildcats, just about what you did to be able to make friends at Westerville North?
When I was able to make friends, like Mr. Yancey said, I was involved in a lot of extracurriculars. Those helped so much because you were involved with different grades, and so for lunch, like they said, it was kind of be scary. I was lucky that my freshman year, I was able to eat with freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors at my table because of the extracurriculars that I was involved in. Making friends kind of seems scary when you go into high school, but in the end, you learn so many different things from so many different people. So when you have a wide variety of friends, it allows you to be involved in a lot more things, and being involved in high school helps your high school career go along so much more smoothly.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I think that to kind of echo what she's talking about, being involved and making a lot of friends helped her connect to the Warrior community, and I think that's true of all the other students who have spoken tonight. They have truly formed a connection with their high school, and that's what we wanted to make sure you heard tonight. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Westerville South Counselor, Mrs. Tammy Hamby, and Mr. Starner, the principal. Again, they're going to talk a little bit about some other things that are not so different, or that are different about high school.
Different and yet the same. I thought our students did a great job mentioning, reiterating involvement, and the fact that because we enter the doors of high school, as much as things change, they really stay the same. And I think the resources available are proof to that. Ms. DeVise had a great point. Don't stop being a parent. Each school has a staff. I have a kindergartner, and the way she's welcomed every day is so exciting to that kindergarten classroom. But I tell you, the staffs at the three high schools and the counseling teams and administrative teams and support staff are the same way. Use the resources from your middle school staff, between now and the end of the year, and feel free to either continue to talk to that person and transition into the summer to the high school people there on page 5 in the course description book. And then we have all kinds of special services. Not only do we have the resources from a personal standpoint, but from a physical standpoint, Westerville is a resource-rich district, and we're very lucky to provide so many items from English as a second language to gifted to special education, and it says up there, page 12 in the book. But we strive to be 3 schools that offer something or someone for everyone, and we're very proud of how we go about doing that. So reach out, and there's always somebody there. And if you don't know the answer, just ask. As much as things are the same, they're just a little different in a new building.
And at high school, just like as an adult, we build a resume to obtain a job. In high school, you will build a transcript, and the transcript will provide you your grades, and your grades begin with the first high school course. Many of you in middle school are taking a high school course, and so they will continue to accumulate through your experiences here in high school, and that transcript will go on to your employment and or college opportunities. On the left-hand side is where it lists all the courses you take, and you will have opportunities throughout your high school experience to view your transcript and keep a track of your credits and ensure that you are on your way to graduating with your 20 credits. To the right side, we'll share with you your weighted and unweighted GPAs based on the courses you've taken, and then the 20 credits, and it keeps accumulating and telling you the credit opportunities you have and what you need to continue to earn each year that you're here in high school. Your state assessments will be on there, and they'll be updated shortly with the new assessments, and then the grading scale. And at the bottom side, we'll also always tell you the current courses that you're listed in. And something different about high school, there is a weighted GPA, and oftentimes you may be considering taking honors or IB or AP courses or College Credit Plus courses, so you will see, and you can reference this. It's in the high school course description guide, page 10, but it'll show you the differences in the GPA when you take an honors or an AP course and the weighting scale. And now it is to Central High School.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Miss Geis, and I am one of the counselors at Westerville Central High School. We've actually spent the last 3 days in the middle schools meeting with all of you regarding, life, what it's like in high school, and also we've been talking about the graduation requirements. This is really, really, really important, and I can't stress enough how important it is to kind of keep that communication open with your counselors, your teachers, and even your parents in terms of, making sure that you have what you need to graduate high school. So, graduation requirements. You need to complete at least 20 credits, okay? This is set by our district. Some districts throughout the state of Ohio might have different types of credits, but for us, every student here has to have at least 20 credits. Also, in high school, you're going to be taking 7 end-of-the-year course assessments and what we like to call the Ohio State's test. In years past, students had the Ohio graduation test that they had to pass, but with this group and the class starting with 2018, they have to pass the Ohio State's test. And then also, there's 3 different types of ways that you can earn your high school diploma. So you've got your 20 credits no matter what, and then one of the ways is the 7-year test, and then we'll kind of go through the other ways here in a second. Okay, so the 20 credits. So the 20 credits have to be in very specific areas. So as you can see on the screen, all students have to have 4 years of an English. Okay, so that just basically means each year you're going to be taking an English class. As long as you pass it, you're going to have your 4 credits to meet graduation requirements. You also have to have 4 years of a math, and that's going to include Algebra 2 or its equivalent. So many of you, your junior year, will be taking that Algebra 2 course. You also have to have 3 years of a science, okay, 1 biological, 1 physical, and 1 advanced. So as freshmen coming in, you might have either a physical science or biology, and we'll I think Mrs. Taylor will be going through that. And then social studies, there's 3 years of a social studies. So as freshmen, you'll be taking American history. Sophomore year, you'll take world history. Junior year, you'll take American government. And then also, you need to have a half of a credit of health, and then a half of a credit of physical education. Now, with that, do I have any students in here that participate in sports? Any sports, band? Okay, so with you, you actually have the option of completing a PE waiver. And what that involves is if you play 2 seasons of a sport, as long as you complete that by the winter of your senior year, then you can have your physical education waived. And then lastly, you have to have elective credits. And then you have to have 5 of those. So with those electives, the fine art credit will also be involved with that as well. All right, so like I said before, everyone has to have at least 20 credits to meet graduation requirements. Then you also have 3 other options to obtain your high school diploma. So keep in mind that when we go through these 3 different categories, you're still earning those 20 credits. So the first option is you have to have a sum of an 18 on the Ohio State's test, okay? And those are going to be those 7 end-of-the-year assessments. You'll be taking those in English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, and Geometry, American History, Government, and Biology. Okay, and as long as you have a sum score, which many of you will have that, okay, that will be one way to earn your high school diploma. The other option is you have your 20 credits, and then you have a remediation-free score on the ACT. That's what our district is using right now. Okay, and you have to have a remediation-free score in English and math. If you meet that, that's another option for you to get your high school diploma. Then the third option is an industry certification and a work keys assessment score. A lot of this will come from the career pathways that we have offered, as well as if students want to attend the Career Center. Okay, so those are the 3 different ways in which you can meet your high school diploma. And I'm now going to turn it over to Mrs. Julie Taylor, school counselor at Westerville North.
Still green. Good evening. Okay, there we go. It was green, I swear. So, as Mrs. Guy said, I'm Julie Taylor, school counselor at Westerville North, and I work with students A through D, so if I have any students out there, it's nice to see you here this evening. I'm also a parent, and I have a sophomore and a 7th grader, so I've been through the process, and we'll go through it again, just like you are this evening. So, I'm going to talk about our registration timeline. Mr. Reeves had referenced this earlier in the presentation, and these deadlines are very important. On February 10th, which is actually tomorrow, your students will be getting their registration form at their middle schools, and they will bring this home, and you'll want to use this along with our course description book that's online to choose your classes. And I will be going through a few slides explaining what your choices are as freshmen. And then also the online registration will be on PowerSchool, so you are able to, once you kind of map out what classes you want to take, you will be able to go on PowerSchool and log those in, enter those courses, and they will be submitted then so the counselors can see the courses that your students selected. Then February 19th is when these course requests are due, so you need to have your course request sheet turned into the middle school, and if you can have it logged into PowerSchool, that would be very helpful too. If you're not able to do that, the counselors will be checking all the course request sheets and making sure that everything's entered so that your student has a schedule when they come to high school in August. And then March 15th, we have, that's our open enrollment, and if your student chooses to come to Westerville South to do the International Baccalaureate Administrative Placement applications, those are due on March 15th. So, as a freshman, you need, as Mrs. Geis had referred to, you need to have English, and you have a couple choices. One choice would be English 1, and the other choice is Honors English 1. And the difference between regular English 1 and Honors English 1 are just a few things. With Honors English, you will have a summer project that you will need to do. It typically includes reading a book and writing a short paper, and that is due on the first day of school. So you do have to complete that over the summer and have that ready to go on the first day. Also with the honors classes, they may go at a little quicker speed and a little more in-depth. You may have a little more work outside of the class to do in order to be prepared for class. So that's mainly the difference between regular English and honors English. If English is your thing and you're really good at it and you're getting A's, you may want to challenge yourself and take the honors, try the honors course. We encourage students to challenge themselves and take honors and AP courses. So if you're not sure, a good person to talk to is your current English teacher and see what their recommendation is, and then talk with your parents and make a decision on what would be best for you. We also offer reading seminar, and this class is usually by teacher recommendation. It's for those students that may need a little extra help in English. This course is a good one to kind of help get you up to speed where you need to be. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Yancey to talk about math because he was a former math teacher.
And everybody loves mathematics, right? All right. So mathematics, these are your choices that you'll have to take. Ms. Geis talked about the fact that you have to have Algebra 2 by the time you graduate high school, and you'll typically take that during your junior year. Some of you, however, are already in Algebra 1 right now, and there are others who are already in honors geometry at the middle school level, which means basically you'll choose the next one down. So if you're already in Algebra 1, you're going to want to take a look at taking honors geometry for next year. And if you're already in honors geometry, you'll take honors Algebra 2 for next year. If you are not in Algebra 1 yet and you're taking mathematics in 7th and 8th grade that's not Algebra 2, then you'll move on to Algebra 1 in the 9th grade year. And then the goal is that you'll obviously have to take 4 credits in math by the time you graduate, including the Algebra 2, which leaves options for your senior year. If you are more advanced at this point and you're finishing Algebra 2 by the end of your sophomore year, you're going to look at options like pre-calculus and calculus down the road. And then you're going to hear Mrs. Baldwin talk a little bit about College Credit Plus options to take college coursework in mathematics. So lots of options for you in mathematics here in Westerville, and we're very excited about the opportunity to bring all of these different courses to you. So I'll turn it back over to Julie now. She's going to talk about science, social studies, and the electives that you'll be looking at.
Thank you. So for science, you have actually 3 choices. You have Honors Biology 1 and 2, Biology, and Physical Science. And if you are really good in science, we would again encourage you to try the honors, especially if you are looking at doing some of the advanced sciences later on, like maybe your sophomore or junior or senior year, because the honors biology or even the biology will help set you up to be able to take those more advanced science classes later on in high school. So if science isn't really your thing, then probably you want to start off with physical science your freshman year and take biology your sophomore year, and that works out perfectly fine. But again, if you're, more of maybe a math and science kind of, go hand in hand, and then we would encourage you to take the honors or the regular biology your freshman year. And again, your current science teacher would be a good person to talk to get a recommendation. For social studies, we have American History 1 and 2 or Honors American History 1 and 2, and it goes along with the English and the science. If social study is a strong area for you, then we encourage you to take the honors. And then as a freshman, this will be a little different than when being in 8th grade or middle school, is that we have choices, other choices that we call electives. And we have 8 periods in our school day. And typically, students take about 6 classes, and then they have a lunch and a study hall. That may vary a little bit depending on if you're in band or if you're doing, if you are doing some advanced classes early on. But typically, you have classes 1 through 6, and then a study hall and a lunch, and not in that order, of course. But you definitely have to have health and PE, and Mrs. Hamby referred to that as being a requirement for graduation. So you have to have 1 semester of PE, and then, 1 semester of health and 2 semesters of PE. And Mrs. Geis talked about the PE waiver, if that's an option for you if you're involved in athletics. World languages is also a choice. We offer Spanish, French, and ASL, American Sign Language, and those are not graduation requirements. However, if you had planned to go to a 4-year college, it is recommended that you have 2 or more years of a world language. And then visual and performing arts, that is a graduation requirement. So you have to have 1 credit of a visual performing arts. So it could be 1 year of choir or band, or you might do 2 semesters of art classes. And again, you can find all the elective choices, all the options in our course description book. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ann Baldwin, our College Career and Technical Coordinator.
Good evening and welcome. I'm excited to share with you some of our career pathways that allow you as a student to personalize your high school experience and get an idea of what you want to do when you leave us. And what's really neat about our pathway experiences is that they're flexible. You can enter into a pathway, decide that it's not for you, and jump into another pathway. So these are some elective options that give you a taste of what a career field might be like. It's a little different than maybe a career center. If you attend a career center, you have a more definite idea of this is what I want to do. I want to do dental assisting, and I'm going to commit my junior and senior year to that program. I'm going to spend a half day at a career center. Our pathways give you an option to maybe test those pathways out and maybe decide you do want to go to the Career Center as a junior or senior, or maybe you want to take the route of a College Credit Plus course as an upperclassman. So even for students that don't plan to pursue one of these explored pathways, it does give you the option to figure out what you like and what you don't like before you graduate. Our 3 career pathways are in-demand career paths that are here in Central Ohio, and the first of those pathways is our business logistics pathway. And as we've built this pathway, it's been interesting to find out that Columbus, Ohio, and Central Ohio is actually within a 10-hour drive of 47% of the U.S. population, which that seems pretty crazy to me that we really are the heart of it all. And we're lucky in Westerville to have so many businesses and opportunities for our students to explore within this particular pathway. So if you've ever been interested in business, or even if you have no idea what you want to do after high school, I'd encourage you to explore our business logistics pathway. A few courses that are available for freshmen to begin this pathway are our Business Foundations course or our Fundamentals of Business and Administrative Services. Fundamentals is a College Credit Plus course, and it's coursework offered through Columbus State Community College. Our teachers in Westerville are adjunct professors, so we teach the college class on the high school campus. It means that you don't have to go anywhere to access that college coursework, and you have a familiar high school teacher that is teaching that course. If you choose to take this course or you want to explore this course, there are additional steps to register. You'll be able to select it on your registration sheet. You'll be able to put it into PowerSchool, but you will also have to go through the process of applying to Columbus State to be a Columbus State student, and you will also have to place into the class. So if you haven't taken the ACT yet, you would take what's called the AccuPlacer, is Columbus State's placement test, and we will take you through that. So if you sign up for one of these courses, you'll be getting additional information from your counselor and myself about the remaining process that you'll need to follow. Other business courses that you can take that would be a foundation for this pathway are 21st Century Technology Skills and Computer Concepts and Applications. Both these courses focus on using technology, Word, Excel, databases. Computer concepts and applications is the college version of 21st century technology skills. So computer concepts and applications is a basic computer science course that would transfer to lots of different schools. So if that's something you're interested in, I encourage you to check that course out. And you can find descriptions of these courses on pages 28 and 29 of your high school course description guide. Our second exciting pathway for students is engineering. And our students have actually had an experience in 7th grade with engineering and design as a semester course. And this is an opportunity, if you love that course, to explore it further in high school. Our first course is called Introduction to Engineering Design. It's a year-long course that is open to our freshmen. And if you like putting things together, if you want to learn about 3D modeling and using the computer to create 3D models and then print them out, this would be a course for you. Our final career pathway is our health pathway. And this gives you an opportunity to explore biomedical professions. And what's really neat about this pathway is you find out that it's more than just being a doctor or nurse. And within this particular pathway, we have students this year that are going to be graduating, and they will also have their clinical lab assistant certificate from Columbus State, which will allow them to enter into an entry-level job at maybe a hospital or a clinical lab, and they'll be able to work in a lab setting as they go to school and pursue a degree maybe in nursing or phlebotomy. So we're excited about the opportunities within this particular pathway. To get started in this path, you will take Principles of Biomedical Science as a 9th grader. Again, this would be in addition to your science class, and if you're going down this path, we recommend that you take biology as your 9th grade science or honors biology. Next up, Mr. Reeves.
All right. Well, I told you I was coming at the end, so we're about finished. A lot of information, a lot of good information. On your way out, you will get a copy, one per family, of our course description guide. I believe it is pink this year. Pretty good, thick booklet. Great reading for you over the weekend to help sit down with your child to figure out what courses you're going to take. So, in summation, tomorrow, February 10th, tomorrow, your child is coming home with their registration guide. If your child is like my child, it's not going to magically appear on the kitchen table. You're going to have to ask for it. Maybe twice, or dig way down into that backpack and find it crumpled up somewhere from the day. It comes home tomorrow. Sit down with that. Go through the course description guide. If you need to go through this presentation again, or if you need to see the PowerPoint, it will be up because you have a week. You have a week in which to register because they need to turn that back in completed by next Friday. That's the 17th. Now, again, if you are considering attending one of our high schools that is not in your attendance zone, we have open enrollment in this district, and enrollment and room permitting, you can apply to go to one of the other schools. That deadline is March 15th. Two things I want to make sure that you do understand. If you opt to, and I'll pick on Mr. Spinner, if you are a Westerville Central Warhawk by residence, but you wish to attend Westerville North High School, transportation has to be provided by you. We only provide transportation to your residential high school, something to consider. May not be a big deal for you, and we have a couple of hundred kids that are open enrolled throughout our district, so they make that work. Second thing, the deadline for registration is next week. If you opt to open enroll, and by March 15th, you open enroll, and the lottery is right after that, and you are notified that you are going to the school that you chose other than your residential school, you don't have to re-register. We'll take the course request that you did for the high school that you're registering for, your residential high school, and we'll transfer that internally to the school you're going to. So you don't have to worry about that because the course offerings for 9th grade are the same at all three high schools. So you don't have to worry about going through that again. If you wish to take or be enrolled in the International Baccalaureate program, Westerville South is the only school in the district that is an international world school by the International Baccalaureate. If you want to be in that program, you must be enrolled at Westerville South High School. There is an application for that you can find on our website. Complete that application. You actually mail that into my office, and we'll let you know right after that. Next thing coming up, after spring break, everybody knows where they're going to school. All the course requests are in. And now it's time to start welcoming and indoctrinating yourself into the culture of your school. So we have what we call Future Night. We've got Future Wildcat Night, Future Warrior Night, Future Warhawk Night. And it's not a sit and get like this where you're in the auditorium getting information thrown at you. It's a party. It's a pep rally. It is T-shirts. It is red and white. It is cardinal and gold. It is black and gray. It is bands teaching you the fight song. It is cheerleaders. It is your junior mentors walking you through the building. It is getting you excited to start your career at North, South, or Central. That's April 6th at 7 o'clock at all 3 high schools. It's a good night. It's a fun night, and they can't wait to meet you. And then lastly, keyword, lastly, you may have questions. After this program is over and we dismiss, those of you attending Westerville South, if you have some questions, they'll be over here to answer those. Those of you attending Westerville North, if you have some questions, Mr. Yancey and Mrs. Taylor will be over there. Mr. Spinner and Mrs. Geis will be up front if you're at Central. If you don't have time for that, that's fine. If your question is after tonight, we have a URL. We have a website that you can go to. And if you type in your question, we'll get alerted, and within 24 to 48 hours, we will answer your question. Questions from years past are up there. Maybe the answer for you is already up there. The answer will not just go to you. Anyone can see your question and your answer. And with that, I wish you the best of luck and welcome to Westerville High Schools.